Today we're going to look at the dot points under environmental and sociological considerations. Specifically, we're going to look at those that have to do with location, which asks us to identify and describe how factors relating to location affect the viability and organisation of the industry. So we need to, if we're asked a question about location, we need to look at some of these. In order to do that, rather than going through each and every dot point, because they're fairly self-evident, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a HSC style question. So this is similar to an essay question that you would get for the section 3 of the exam. What it asks is, Intech wish to move location of their business. Discuss the considerations that they may need to address in moving the business. Now, if you're not asked about specific factors, for example, if you're not asked about environmental or structural or whatever, you can talk about anything. But it specifically asks you about location, and there are a number of dot points under location in the syllabus. Also, we were asked to discuss. So the first thing I do when I see a discuss question is I realise that I have to discuss positive and negatives. Now, you don't need to discuss a positive for every negative and vice versa, but you do need to have positives and negatives throughout your essay. So what I did was I scaffolded up a table here that includes positive and negatives of this question. So first of all, in terms of moving the business, this could be a positive. If you're selling your existing business and moving into a cheaper place, then you've got more capital. So therefore you can use this money to invest in more technology to make the business more efficient. So then I've linked back to efficiency, which is under technical factors. Or you can buy a bigger business that allows you to produce more and therefore make more money. So either way, that in terms of if you're selling off your business at a higher price than the one that you're buying, then you'll have that extra money to do something with. You need to look at the fact that the business may be more accessible to passing traffic. So this means that there would be more people that see your business, therefore potentially buy from the business. So particularly if you're moving to a main road and you have people driving past all the time, they are people that see your business, so therefore may come in and buy it. So the more people that see it, then the better marketing that is. However, a negative side of this is if you have an existing customer base that might not know where you have moved to. For example, if you're a surfboard company, you don't want to really be situated in, say, Parramatta, which is an hour and a half from the nearest beach. If you're moving from the beach, that would be a bad idea. However, if you're moving to the beach, then that would be better because you're closer to your target market. If you're just moving down the road, this means that the business may need to tell the target market their new location in a different way. So you've got to put up things like signs on your windows to say that you've moved, because if people know that you're there and they come and you've shut down your business and you've just got doors there that are shut down, they won't know where your business has gone to. You might want to do something like give a mail out to your customers to show where you're moving to before that actually happens. This means that existing customers know where you're moving to. You want to make sure that workers aren't negatively affected by the move. For example, there needs to be little change or detriment to the worker's routine in getting to work. So if you have to take a bus to get to work and it takes you half an hour, if you make your workers take 3 buses and a train and it takes them an hour and a half, then the likelihood is you're going to lose that worker, or the worker's not going to be as happy in the workplace, which can affect the quality of their work. You might, however, improve the availability of resources based on the situation. If you were moving to a main road, it would be easier for the business to deliver raw materials to the company. If you are moving into a city or, say, nearer to your suppliers, then that would obviously make it easier for you. You can have a positive or negative impact on the current population. For example, if there's a need for the new business, then this can be a positive thing. Certain industries can affect the emotional well-being of people within the area by fulfilling community needs, such as schools, jobs, hospitals, things like that. If you're moving a building company to an area where there's no builders, then that's fulfilling a need for that certain population. However, it could also be negative in terms of if the company has a lot of pollution, then you wouldn't want them living next door to your house, would you? Geographical factors can influence whether the company is successful or not. For example, you would not build a car factory near a beach. Likelihood is that the land is going to be a lot more expensive in that area because it's more in demand. But then also you have more difficulty in dealing with things like rust because you get sea spray in the air. That's a salt water that goes through the air, and that would then be a detriment to the metals in the car factory. Now, it seems like a minor thing, but if that's something that you're going to fight with, if your company is located in Bondi as opposed to Penrith, and it's also cheaper to be in Penrith, then there's no point to continue to fight those environmental factors that are currently in that situation. If you're moving somewhere, you need to have a management plan for wastage. So whatever production that you're creating, then the council will require you to have a management plan in place for throwing out that waste. The location can have an effect on this waste removal. Is it provided by the council or do you have to pay for it? Obviously, if you're mass producing, then all of the wastage from your mass production is not going to fit into one of the council green wheelie bins. Can the waste be recycled? How far are you from the recycling plant? How far from the tip? In terms of the bins that you get from councils, different councils have different regulations. So if you live in Penrith Council, you will get 3 bins that you have to separate all your rubbish into different areas. If you live in Hall Road Council, then you'll get 2 bins, one for recycling and one for normal everything else. So different councils have different laws in place to deal with waste. If you're polluting, you need to then have a look at that, because if you're going to accidentally cause waste to go into a river, if you're near one, then the council will ask you how you're going to prevent that. They might ask you how you're going to prevent that before you even do that. So it's important to have a plan in place for that. So if we have a look at all of the points that we've got here, that's a large amount of points just looking at that one dot point under location. We've included positive and negatives. And we would just, in terms of an essay, obviously we would need to discuss those in more detail and also add then links between them. So for example, when I've gone through, I've gone, well, it's more accessible to passing traffic. However, if you have an existing customer base, so those links like however, therefore, those are links between different elements. So that can help you to get higher marks in the essay.